Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today I have a very interesting review for you. This is something I've had before and reviewed, sort of quick reviews. I don't know if it's a full review. I don't know if you want to call it a backyard rambling. When I first started the channel, I sort of talked about some of these knives. It wasn't really a true review like I do them now. I kind of have a process. So I kind of wanted to revisit this because for me, this is effectively a completely different knife. Now, I have had 3 versions of this knife. I know that. And if you watch any of my content, you'll know, hey, I've seen that before. And I'm like, yes, I know. Originally, I bought the AUS 10A version. It's basic, I think it was K110 or D2, whatever version. And it was the FRN scales. I bought that version and it had the much smaller screw and pivot. And then I got some micarta scales for that from RGT, Rips Garage Technology. Enjoyed that, made it a lot thicker and it was a lot nicer. The FRN really thin plastic was kind of cheap, you know, for what you got, and the steel was not great. It wasn't. Then they came out with a 3V version, and I was very excited about that, and so I kind of went all out. I got the titanium that was milled and textured, really nice. Now their texturing was very aggressive, and honestly, it when you put in like for instance, this is a Lynch clip. When you put in that, you put in the you carry that, it really ripped up my pockets, and the 3V steel was always something that concerned me because, you know, it's not corrosion resistant perfectly. You know, I mean, it's got some corrosion resistance, but it's not like S35VN, or it's not like M390 or 20CV, or those have much better corrosion resistance. So, but it is a tough steel, so it's definitely a great outdoor bang up, beat up kind of type of knife. But again, because it was a little more expensive because of the cost and all that, I wasn't too comfortable carrying it around. I didn't like it ripping up my pants. I didn't enjoy that. And then I was worried about the steel rusting and stuff. So what we have here now is an Andrew Demko design. So if you're familiar with Andrew Demko, he does make USA knives. He decided to create a production knife. This one here is made in Taiwan, if you can see that, and this is the S35VN steel blade, and this is the clip point. It is the shark lock here, you can see that, which is really nice. So this is the carbon fiber scales. Now I believe these are all carbon fiber scales, but I think this is twill layered on top. When I took these apart, they did reflect, not like G10, so I'm still kind of torn because you can see layers in here, and I'm not sure if that's layers of G10, but typically that's more carbon fiber, but I don't think all the layers are this twill design. I think the twill carbon fiber was laid on top of that, and then this is like carbon fiber layers underneath. That's what I'm guessing. I have not found any literature or any way to definitively prove that, and maybe I can reach out to Andrew Demko and see if he maybe would reply to me. I'm not a big enough knife channel that he may give me the light of day, so that's fine. But you know, I'm gonna keep searching, and if anybody knows, would you mind commenting down below? I would love to find out about that. If you know a video or article or something that's published that knows that for sure, that would be awesome. But I can tell you, I like this material a lot better. This is very convenient. Now the texture, the G10 texture, I was very much on the fence whether I should get that or not, but I noticed it was textured like the titanium, and I did not care for that. And it would rip, it was very not friendly to clothes. It was kind of catchy, right? So like I have another one over here. This is the Kunwu Pulsar, and this texture is very different. I can run back and forth and it's not gonna shred my finger, but it does have texture, but it allows for very smooth passing over of that titanium, and I like that type of texture. That's not what the texture version of this was. It was very grippy and almost shreddy, right? So I didn't appreciate that type of texture. This I like. It goes in and out of my pocket really nice. This is a Lynch deep pocket carry clip that I did replace out from the original Andrew Demko clip that came in, which was much lower in the pocket. It carried somewhere down here like ridiculous, really high. I wanted something that carried really low. Now this carries extremely deeply out of sight. Now I do know, and I've been told the reason for that is because this also fits the Andrew Demko 20. So this is the 20.5, the Taiwanese made version of the knife. The Andrew Demko 20 is the USA made one he makes in his shop. Much thicker, bigger knife, more expensive, and bigger also means that it'll come really close to the edge here, more so, if you will. So there's that. I don't really care about the lanyard hole. As you can see, you can still kind of get to it if you wanted to. So you could still theoretically thread something through there around here. I mean, if you really wanted to. I don't care about it. To me, I don't use lanyard holes. It's very few knives I can see it very functional on. I mean, there are some exceptions, I'm sure, and I've thought of them, but for an EDC knife or a used knife like this, no, I don't need lanyard holes. But for those of you guys who love them, you know, hey, there you go, it's there. As far as materials, this, like I said, it's S35VN steel, so it's good corrosion resistant, much nicer than the 3V or the AUS-10A or the D2 or K110, you know, sort of budget steels over there. I like that much better. Now, they did a really good job. Typically, what I find out of the plants in Taiwan, as opposed to China, they get the heat treat really nicely. And I can tell you, this edge is ridiculous. This is a ridiculous edge on this particular knife. It is really, really nice. I really do enjoy that. It's a very sharp edge. It retains the edge really, really, really wonderfully, okay? Easy to strop, easy to sharpen, and it retains the edge well. And I find it to be a very tougher steel, if you will. S35VN is really very useful for me, at least for what my purposes, if you will. So I do like that. What else? The clip, this is a Lynch deep pocket carry clip, definitely worth the investment to upgrade. I do have Skiff Caged ceramic ball bearings in there. I think every one of these should have them because the action just becomes so much better. Not saying that it's terrible before, but I think the tolerances that Steve Skiff does on his washers are worth the investment. It just gives the action to be so much smoother because they're very, I think they're 1/16 of an inch thick ceramic ball bearings, so that's very thin. And you want to make sure those tolerances are really tight, and if they're not, it becomes gritty and not as smooth and not consistent. And this, when you release the shark lock, it's just beautiful, very smooth, and locks in there really, really well. So that's what's in there. Of course, you have the way to deploy this. You have the thumb studs, very easy to use. You have the fuller hole, very easy to use. Put your middle finger in there, reverse flick like that. You can do both hands because, you know, it's not a frame lock or liner lock, so you don't have to worry about that. A single lock in the back. So, and as you noticed here, the clip is reversible. So you can use the clip on both sides. So if you're lefty, lefties rejoice. You can use the left-hand side. It's really, really nice for that, right? And I enjoy fidgeting knives left and right-handed. To me, I find a lot of fun in that. I enjoy that. So that is how that works. Action's great. This is the shark lock. If you're not familiar with this, it works. There's a spring in here that when you push back like this, it releases the blade. You can see that, and I don't know if you can see that. So when I pull this back, it comes up, back like that, and that releases the blade. When you release it forward, it locks in the back of the blade and the tang, and that's what locks in place. And it's super, super solid, right? You got a nice grip here for it, and can choke up definitely for this. So full 4-finger grip. My hands are medium, large hands. They're large widthwise, medium lengthwise. I get an easy 4-finger grip here, very comfortable. I can actually choke up here really, really nicely. It's got great jimping up here, so it's easy to hold and do that push cut, precision cut. You can definitely hold up here if you have extra large to double extra large hands, plenty of room. Really, really, really nice, okay? So everything has got good action, good accessibility. I mean, it's a fidgety, fun knife. You're gonna have fun just fidgeting all day with this, right? You can just kind of go crazy with it if you want. And that can make everybody go crazy if you do that as well. So maybe don't do it around too many people, right? I think that's about it to talk about the lock and how it feels and how it opens and all that stuff. Let's get right into the measurements. Let's see how much this guy weighs, all right? Because this is gonna be different than anything I've had before. It's a different steel, and it's a different material. So this is 3.59 ounces. That's not bad, 3.59 ounces. That's pretty decent. And let's get the measurement on the knife here. 3.59 ounces. The ratios aren't gonna be perfect, as you can already tell. The blade length is gonna be right at exactly 3 inches, right? If you go to the back of the blade where the handle starts and it meets, we're probably 3 1/8 of an inch, maybe 1/8 of an inch, maybe 3/16 of an inch if we want to be specific, right? So that is the length of the blade. Now the length of the cutting edge, if we go from cutting edge to cutting edge, about 3 inches, right? So that's not bad. And usually you measure that from here to the edge right there. So it's about 3, maybe just a hair over. Overall length of the knife, we are looking at right here, 7.5 inches. So 7.5 inches right here. You're looking for the grip from here to here. It's about 3.5 inches, a little shy of that, 3.5 inches. If you choke up on the knife, you can get about 4.5 inches in. So that's about the length of the knife. Let's go ahead and look at the blade thickness. All right, so we'll go ahead and do that. All right, so let's see. So we're at 127 hundredths of an inch, 128 hundredths of an inch for thickness. Pretty standard, right? So, you know, we're looking at definitely a little more than 1/10 of an inch, definitely well less than 2/10 of an inch. So that's a good, sturdy, useful, you know, kind of an edge. Now it comes out to a very thin edge. I can tell you this edge is very thin and it's very crazy sharp. You can shave with this, probably you can whittle a hair. I think it's that crazy sharp because the grip on here is ridiculous. I've been stropping it and it's just really great. So those are the measurements. Knife category. This one is definitely going to be a regular knife. This version right here I think is around $265, but if you can always get a sale or something on there, if you're fortunate enough, sometimes you get a deal, first time buyer, sometimes you get a little coupon. Some places will give you a discount if you just first sign up, so look for those, but about $265 is what you get for this knife. Definitely worth it. I know some places the coupons don't work, so if you go to White Mountain Knives and you use my code RNK10, you get 10% off on most everything, but I do think the Demkos, like the carbon fiber and the titanium scale ones, they're not included, okay? Just so you know. But you can get 10% off of other knives, so check that out. That helps me out and helps White Mountain Knives out. I would appreciate if you consider using that code to get yourself 10%. So trying to, you know, basically say, hey, you want 10% off a knife, use that code, right? It's in my description if you want to know more about that and you want White Mountain Knives website. All right, so shameless self-plug there. Sorry about that, but I was just excited. I actually got a knife company that gave me a discount code, and becoming an affiliate. It's kind of cool to be recognized like that. So it's kind of neat that, you know, some places are seeing that the channel is growing and people are extending that out, and hopefully I can extend that back to you guys as you watched, and you can get some coupons, some discounts, and, you know, if we start getting knives or something, maybe some giveaways, you know, above and beyond other things, right? I'm kind of hoping for that. That'd be really cool. All right. The purpose of the knives. I say this is a hard use knife. This is definitely an EDC knife with carbon fiber or titanium. This is gorgeous. Definitely everyday carry. It looks really nice. I think it carries nicely. The carbon fiber, the twill pattern here looks very nice in the sun. Reflects really, really well. I think really, really beautiful, right? So I like that. But definitely hard use. This is definitely a hard use. The blade's going to take a lot of abuse. The angle. I like the clip point over the sheep's foot. Now, if you're doing a lot of utilitarian cuts, you might want to consider getting what they call it a shark foot, right? But it's a sheep's foot knife. It has a little more tip going down, and you can do more precision cuts. But this is nice for poking into fertilizer bag, dirt bags, cat food, dog food, whatever you open up. You're cutting water bottle cases. I mean, basically that's my EDC everyday thing. I'm cutting a lot of stuff like that. Envelopes, business letters, Amazon boxes, you know, boxes from knife retailers, whatever. Those are things that I'm using on that. But to me, definitely a great knife for that. Definitely hard use, but could be just regular EDC. Looks really nice and discreet for that as well. So to me, that's the purpose on there. Ergos and feel. They execute this really well. Everything is chamfered, rounded around here. It's not really, really sharp on the edges. I mean, it still looks pretty sharp, but it's really nicely rounded. It's comfortable. It doesn't dig in, and I like the Lynch deep pocket carry clip. It's titanium as well. They have their clip, and it's relatively nice as well. There's no hot spots when you grip down really hard on it. So to me, that's comfortable. And to grip down here, it's a nice cut. And you got the jimping, so it's really solid in your hands. Very, very secure. You're not going to worry about losing it. And if you put your hand here, you're not going to unlock that. The only way you unlock that is if you pull that back. So that's kind of an intentional. You have to pull back to get that. And if your hand's here pushing or something, you're never going to be pushing back, right? So that's really cool. Makes it a very hard use knife. And I like the single hand deploy. And it's very comfortable to use both hands, right? So you can do both hands if you want. So to me, purpose on this is all of that. And then it's just a fun fidget knife. I did a little video that annoyed the heck out of some people apparently, but still got like thousands of views and likes, and so it's one of those things that, you know, a lot of people liked it, maybe thought it was annoyingly funny or weird or whatever, but there's some people who just really got annoyed because it was me like, do you like to open your knives? Do you like to flick your knives? And I'd be like, yeah. I would go, you know, I did something like this, and then I go, yeah, you know, and I started doing that. Yeah, I do too, you know, something stupid like that. And I thought it was kind of funny. So, you know, you're not going to make everybody happy all the time. You'll be fortunate enough to make some of the people happy all the time. You'll be very rare to make everyone happy some of the time, right? So it is what it is. I'm gonna hit some out of the park, and I'm gonna miss some. So, you know, there you go. If you liked it, great. If you didn't, sorry. All right. Ergos and feels. Like I said, the handle is nice. The deployment, I love the design. It's super fun. The closed design, again, with that shark lock is beautiful. Now, I will tell you, the jimping here is I've had 3 of these, okay? And the first one I had compared to the second one and compared to the third one, they've softened this jimping. When I first got this was like sandpaper. You moved your hand back and forth, it was just ripping skin off. It really was. This is gentler. I mean, it's still got great traction. Still wonderful traction here. Don't get me wrong, really wonderful traction up here, but the edges aren't quite as harsh here on this side, and this jimping is not as harsh. It's very minor, but I think they've changed that. It feels that to me. Either I've got super thicker calluses on my finger, or they've did something different. And that's what it feels like to me, because I did notice that, because after I fidget with this for a while, my hand would start to hurt and it would dig in and it would get raw and it would get red and sore because it'd be grating on my hand. I don't find that with this. It's much nicer, so there's that. Fidget factor, this is one of those. It's a 9.5. I don't know if I'd give it a 10. 10 are very, very rare. There's a few that get 10s, but this is way up there. It's a lot of fun. I mean, you can, thumb flick, reverse thumb flick, fuller, so, for everything that you can do, and especially with the shark lock, it is definitely like a 9, a solid. If the not best, I think the best you can get on this would be a 9, because it has limited deployments. It only has a few. It doesn't have like the thumb. It doesn't have other things that I would like to see, front flipper and other things, which is fine, because too much on this knife I think would take away from it, right? So I give it a solid 9, because that's, I think, the best it can get. So it's like a 9 out of 9. So it's 100% as far as fidget factor for its capabilities, right? So awesome, and I think you would enjoy it. My overall thoughts, and do I recommend this? Yeah, absolutely, 100% recommend it. It's going to be in my recommended knives, 100%. It's definitely going to be in the regular recommended knives. If you decide to upgrade it and get the titanium version, it would definitely be one of those higher end ones, and that might be something nice to consider if that's your thing. If you like the 3V kind of steel, which is a harder steel, harder use, you're out there banging, breaking logs, doing things like that, then maybe check out the 3V. But if you are everyday EDC carry, you're more in wetter environments, the S35VN steel might be a better choice, right? And I gotta tell you, this edge is just crazy sharp. I'm still really amazed at how long this edge has retained and how sharp it's been. It just really is crazy. And I don't know if I can even kind of explain that to you, so I think we can sort of see that. Let's see if we can kind of get that. So it doesn't really tell you a whole lot, right? But the fact is that you can see I am doing itty bitty curly cues with the very, very edge with hardly any force. And I'm just barely moving down. And I'm not forcing this or anything. I'm just letting it kind of fall. So it's crazy sharp. I'll just say that. I can shave my arm off, and that's one thing you'll notice with knife guys. You'll have hair in one hand and then the other one will be kind of bald, because you've just sharpened it and you want to test it and see, oh, is it sharp enough, right? And so there you go. I just took some hair off, right? So anyways, definitely recommend it. Definitely fun, useful, great use. I think if this is one of those knives, I think if you can afford it and it's something that's up your alley and you like the aesthetics of it, I think you should get one. I really do. I think it's one of those knives that are fun to have. They're enjoyable to have. They're enjoyable to carry. You just got to make sure you get the right materials, right? It took me 3 shots before I got the right one. The first one just wasn't for me. I didn't want to go cheap, right? I didn't want AUS 10. To me, it was just, and that FRN scales wasn't great. And when I bought the micarta scales, I wasn't a big fan of that either. I'm not a micarta fan. I have a few things in micarta, but it's not one of my favorites, right? Some people love micarta. Not my cup of tea, right? I'll do a little bit of micarta here and there, but I would prefer carbon fiber or just straight up titanium. So that's just me. It's okay. We all have different likes, different things we enjoy. So just enjoy what you enjoy, and I'll enjoy what I enjoy. And look for the micarta versions if that's what you want, right? So definitely recommend it. I think you should get one. Check them out. Really, really great knife. That's my thoughts on there. If you have any thoughts, ideas, questions about this review, any suggestions for future reviews, please make some comments down below. If you have any questions for me or about the review, please feel free to leave comments as well. I try to answer all of my comments. And again, thank you for watching. And so if you found this content fun, interesting, or worthwhile, would you please consider liking this video. That really helps out the channel a lot, helps me to produce more content. And then if you've already liked the video, maybe consider subscribing to my channel. That also tremendously helps me as well. So if you would, please consider hitting that subscribe button. And if you've already subscribed, maybe consider hitting the notification button. That'll allow you to be notified of future upcoming content when I drop it, like this video. And if you've done all that and you've, want to check me out over on Instagram, I'd appreciate that too. I have an account over on Instagram, and it's robs_nerdy_knives. Robs_nerdy_knives over on Instagram. Hey, thanks so much for watching today. Have a great day and a great week. Bye.